And so we just thought it would be a good idea to say, okay, there's a lot of talk going on around it. When everybody's got the buzz around it, it's like, okay, when's it coming out? What's going on? And so from the user group perspective, we decided, let's give everybody not so much a peek into it, but just say, here's what's coming from what we know of from looking at the betas. But again, at the same time, let everybody know that just because we say it's coming, Oracle could pull the plug at some point in time and say, that's not going to be added in this release. So I think from a user, it was basically for us to give the user groups a way to say, okay, we've been talking about it for 6 months, but what's really in it? And so like James alluded to, we've only touched the tip of the iceberg. We only did 25 of them. And we didn't do the top 10 or whatever like that, but we just said, here's the 25 that we tested during beta testing, and here's what our thoughts are. So we think we gave the user groups a good base of understanding of where it's coming from, and what they could be potentially looked at, and what they could use. And from what the reaction we got in the crowd was actually pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, Bobby represents the partner implementer, system integrator world of this. The consultants that are out there, they're going to be challenged with actually upgrading people or doing new installations. I represent the existing customer base of Oracle. We're applications EBS shop. We want to know, what does that roadmap affect for us? What does 12C give us to save us money, basically, as an organization? So between the two of us, we actually do try to cover a lot of
good big round with it.
Big part of that world. And we were very actually heartened the idea during the beta testing that we did. We're phase 3, probably the last one before the general availability release. We're pretty happy with the product. I mean, it's shockingly good.
This is actually by far the best release they've come out with on a first release, because they've actually listened to the user groups in general and took a lot of things that we wanted and put it into it.
And we, by being as part of the beta program, people behind that beta program brought the user groups in confidence to say, you guys do represent, you people represent as a whole, key members of the user community. Hit this thing until it breaks and tell us what's going to be needed for this thing to go general. And that's what we felt we did, I think, up there in Redwood Shores. We did things that was very unexpected of them. I took
anytime you get a developer coming standing behind your shoulder, that was one of the real impressive things about the beta testing, was the fact you had 9 testers. When you had Oracle put 50 plus people in the room with us, and when we broke it, they literally came and pulled the code open and looked at it and said, here's why it's broke. And that in turn gave Oracle the insight to say, okay, what did you guys do versus how it broke, so that way they can go fix the code to be more responsive to what the user's going to do out in the marketplace.
And while it's not a generally acceptable practice or best practice idea, I, as an e-business customer, ended up bringing in a live R12.1.3 version instance, not certified, not supposed to be certified. Certainly Oracle's own development group behind applications technology does not certify. You're supposed to be doing 12C upgrades. But in the context of a beta, for me, this is the exciting way to do it. You take the sandbox instance, you take a copy of a live R12 instance, you try to do the upgrade. The only things that broke is the stuff that Oracle already told us would break because they de-support those particular features. That was just, that's like the guarantee is actually going to work.
They listened and they fixed it to where they needed to make it GA. So when GA comes out, you can take it to production if you want. And I think that's what a lot of people are going to be really shocked about, because most organizations wait until release 2 for it to come out, to be honest with you. But release 1 of 12C, we think from the user group perspective, could be production ready and be used.
That's better than most other software companies that just try to be first to market with the feature and then let the user community test it and find out where the bugs are. That was a different philosophy that we met, and I know the beta 1 and the beta 2 release testings uncovered thousands and tens of thousands of problems that got fixed by the time we were getting our hands on it. The improvements that Oracle's actually made in that process, that's a good step in the right direction. And we would hope that every software vendor actually does that same thing. Because IOUG, being very agnostic about what the user community needs to make a business solution happen, having Oracle do that just makes our job easier.